His voice cut through the laughter like a knife coated in champagne. "To the loser paying for her future!" Glasses clinked. Smiles froze. My wife laughed, too loud, too free. The crowd joined in, oblivious, except for me. I sat still, one hand on my glass, the other beneath the table, knuckles whitening around nothing. The company retreat shimmered around us, warm lights, fake joy, polished executives pretending to love one another. She touched his arm when she laughed, a small touch, but I saw the history in it, the comfort. His name was Darren, senior strategist. I'd paid for the villa they were drinking in, sponsored the entire weekend for her department, a gesture of love, support, she called it. And in return, humiliation, served with a toast. I smiled faintly. Rose, my wife, didn't look at me, not once. Her cheeks flushed under the glow of admiration. Darren grinned, smug, victorious. The sound of glass tapping filled the room. I stood, not to speak, just to leave. I heard her call after me, light and casual. "He's just tired." No one cared. They went back to their laughter. Outside, the air was colder than I expected. I walked until I couldn't hear the music anymore. My reflection in the glass door looked calm, dead calm. Inside that stillness, something turned, slowly, quietly. I didn't drive home. I called someone instead. That night I slept alone in the guest suite of a nearby hotel. The ceiling fan hummed like a slow confession. Her phone buzzed at 2:47 a.m. She didn't know I had mirrored it 6 months ago. It wasn't suspicion then, it was curiosity. She'd been distant, withdrawn. I wanted to understand. Now I did. Darren, worth it tonight. He looked like he wanted to kill me. Rose, he won't, he's too proud. They knew me well. I read the messages like reading a eulogy. Hours. Each line another handful of dirt on the coffin of what I thought we had. They didn't know that the company she worked for, the one that held her future, his career, was partially mine. Quietly, through an investment firm. No one but the CEO knew, and the CEO owed me a favor. She'd called me a silent partner once. Ironic. I'd never been more silent than I was now. I didn't confront her, not yet. The next morning, she came home, pretending to be tired. The scent of wine on her breath. I made coffee. She smiled at me, like nothing had happened. "Rough night?" I asked. She shrugged. "You know how these retreats go." I did. For 3 days, I watched her routine shift. Her phone flipped face down on the counter. Her showers longer. Her eyes unfocused when I spoke. I tracked her emails, her corporate messages. I found the thread she thought she'd deleted, the one about our plan, their plan. She wanted to leave me, after the bonus payout, after the merger, because love was never the goal. Stability was. I was the bridge to her next life, and he was already waiting on the other side. But Darren made a mistake. He wasn't careful. He'd been careless in his own company accounts, expenses flagged, meetings logged incorrectly. I gathered every detail and sent them to the CEO. No context, just evidence. A quiet package with a subject line, "For review." I knew it would be enough. By the time she left for work, the call had already been made. That evening, she came home pale, shaken. She dropped her bag by the door, didn't look at me. "Darren's been suspended," she whispered. "Some financial investigation. They said they're terminating him." Her voice broke on that last word. Not for him, exactly, but for what it meant for her, for their dream. I folded the paper in my hands, pretending to read. I said. "Strange. He seemed reliable." She glanced at me, searching for something, a hint of sympathy. I offered none. "Did you hear what he said that night?" she asked suddenly. "It was just a joke." I looked at her then, slowly, calmly. "Yes," I said, "a funny one." Her face tightened. "You're not angry?" No, I said, not anymore, because anger was temporary. What I had now was permanent. I reached for my glass of water, and in the quiet between us, I saw realization flicker behind her eyes. She understood, too late, that I knew, that I'd known. I placed my phone on the table, the mirrored messages open. Her hands trembled as she read them. The silence between us was heavier than any accusation. "Why didn't you say anything?" she whispered. I leaned back. "Because you wanted a future. I gave it to you." Her breath hitched. "You destroyed him." I tilted my head. "No, he did that himself. I just showed someone where to look." She covered her mouth, shaking. "What happens now?" "Now," I said, "you live with it." She reached for me, maybe out of habit, maybe desperation. I stepped back. "I didn't mean—" I cut her off with a look. Cold, final. "I know exactly what you meant." Outside, a car horn echoed, sharp, distant. Time moved again. I walked past her, past the pieces of our life arranged like a crime scene. Behind me, she sank to the floor, whispering his name. It sounded hollow, dead. The next morning, her side of the bed was cold. She didn't sleep there again. I went to work, shook hands, smiled when people congratulated me on the merger deal that went through. Darren's removal had expedited it. Everyone won. Almost everyone. When I came home that night, the house was quiet. Her suitcase was gone. The ring she'd once begged me to buy lay on the counter, beside a note I didn't read. I poured myself a drink, watched the amber swirl. The silence was cleaner now. No lies breathing in it. I lifted the glass to the air and whispered, softly, almost kindly, "To the loser paying for her future." Then I drank and smiled, because I finally understood. I was never the loser. I was just the lesson.